Hey listeners, good morning. We are here again on a Thursday morning. Welcome to yet another episode of our LinkedIn talk show series, Productivity League, hosted by We360.ai. So, as we always say in every episode, in our talk show series, Productivity League, our mission is very clear to build a dynamic and a constructive learning community around this vital topic, productivity. The objective is pretty clear. We all grow together with all the collective knowledge and experiences of our entire community. I am Kunal Sinha, your host, and today we're diving deep into a very interesting topic, HR tech adoption by SMB and enterprises. Now, technology is a core differentiator in organizational and individual success in today's competitive business landscape. But how do we adopt the modern tech stack in HR is one of the most critical factors for the success of organizations and teams. And today we have some amazing guests with us who bring a wealth of experience around managing modern teams across different industries. And as the topic says, about both SMB and enterprises, we have an amazing mix of guests having diverse experience across SMBs to mid-market and enterprises. So, not taking much time, let me quickly introduce you to the amazing speakers for today's event. In this episode, I have with me four amazing people: Rishab, Kajal, Arpit, and Isha. Rishab is the Chief Human Resources Officer at Novel Tech Feeds Private Limited, which is a Goldman Sachs company. He was recognized as the TA Pi Young HR Leader in 2022, also as a Sustainable HR Leaders in India in 2020, and as 101 Top HR Minds of India in 2019, awarded by World HRD Congress and CHRO Asia. We're really privileged to have you, Rishabh, here. It'll be wonderful to host you and listen to your experience. The second person I have with me, Kajal. So she's a human resources manager at Unix Data, which is a company into database management services from 2009. At Unix Data, her key responsibility includes overseeing the entire HR function. So from talent acquisition, onboarding, payroll, performance management, and the entire gamut of HR. So Kajal is a kind of one women army at Unix Data. So it'll be really wonderful to hear your challenges and your story, Kajal, at your company.
Yeah, thank you so much for the basic introduction. I'm here to further assistance.
Sure, Kajal. Lovely to have you.
Thank you.
The next person I have, Arpit. So Arpit has a wonderful experience, and he is an HR manager at Zim Laboratories and Limited. He is a seasoned HR professional with expertise in talent acquisition, employee relations, HR audit, onboarding. So you can just name it, and Arpit has it in his armor. And he has a very rich experience working with some of the well-known global brands across diverse industries. So it'll be definitely wonderful to hear Arpit with your experiences and your journey. Welcome to
Thank
the
you so
show.
much for the introduction. Thank you, Kunal.
Thanks, Arpit. And last person I have, she is, I hope, the youngest of all, Isha. So she's a human resources manager at IFED, which is a technology-driven marketing agency, and she leads the recruitment, engagement, retention of the talented and diverse professionals. And she will be bearing the flag of the SMBs here in our today's topic of SMB and enterprises. So welcome, Isha. It'll be wonderful to hear and listen to your experiences.
First of all, a very good morning to all of you. And yes, thank you for having me here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Isha.
Yeah.
So, so before we get into the event, what I'll do is I'll quickly explain the structure of today's event. Uh, First, I would like all of you to take out at least 2 to 3 minutes and take us through your journey and your experience in current exploration. And then we can get into some specific questions that we have received from our listeners. I have separate questions for all of you tailored to your specific experience and exposure. And I would like to understand from all of you how the same challenges have solutions addressed differently to different audiences or industries, and how you cater to the different challenges at your own companies of different sizes. So you will have at least like 3 to 5 minutes to answer each and every question. But before that, as I said, like listeners and myself will also love to understand at least like 2 to 3 minutes about you and your journey. So I would love to start with Rishabh. Rishabh, if you can just quickly take us through your journey. I mean, we know that you are a very having a very amazing and diversified profile, but I just want to hear it from your own man.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction and a very warm welcome to all of you in the winter morning. I was born and brought up in Patna, right? And almost I have 20 plus years of experience now, worked with promoter driven setups and large organizations as well. did have a fairly good amount of opportunity in transforming organizations, have worked with industries like financial services, retail, real estate, and then feed manufacturing, a very different industry. And now there is a correction that needs to be done. I am not the CHRO of Noveltech anymore. I left them, right? I am head of talent acquisition for Century Ply, based out of Calcutta. So I have not updated deliberately. So need to want to do some work and then update it.
Sure, Rishab.
So
It's great you're actually announcing it to the right platform to a larger audience.
it 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 has been a fairly exciting journey throughout. So I would say I was a computer graduate, but then realized that it is not my cup of tea to be continuously in front of a system and then keep on working on particular thing. Not criticizing any particular role or a function, but of course that I felt it will not work for me. I did MBA finance, then did sales, and then accidentally into an HR system. Right, I was very passionate of talking to people, speaking at forums, so I got into training, and then the HR journey started. Then I did my executive program from XLRI. So all these has happened. So it has been a 20 years of wonderful journey. Did different roles, learned organically, and I really love interacting with people. People are the most important aspect of life, probably, I believe. So any business, if it is there, it is because of the people and is by the people. So any decision that has to be taken, it has to be people centric. So that is what I believe, and that is why my line says I serve people who serves life on this earth. That's it.
Wonderful, wonderful. So it's great that you have followed your passion and what you love. So I can definitely relate to that. I'm also an engineer turned marketer. I also felt boring working in front of the system, so I switched to marketing. And but today again, I'm working in front of system only. But anyways, it's always good to follow your passion. And like yes, just like me, you also love to interact with people, and it's great that you're actually into the same profession. So welcome to the show, Rishab.
Thank you, thank you. Just flow with the system, you'll enjoy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I would now like to invite the amazing lady Kajal. So just to let us know something about your journey.
Yeah, first of all, good morning, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity in which we can connect with each other and share our perspective. So, I'm basically from Ahmedabad, and I've completed my MBA from K School of Business Management. And after that, I've completed two internship in Pantaloon and Fortune Landmark. After that, I've decided to pursue my career further in HR operations only. So here first in I've joined Unique Data as a human resources executive, and I've experience of overall HR from recruitment to talent acquisition to interview to joining formalities, all the induction process, payroll, all the activities, event management, and all the grievance solving. So with the passion, and I've in Unique Data, I've completed 4+ years here, and currently I'm working as a human resources manager, and I'm only a person who is handling everything in HR, from recruitment to leaving procedure as well. And I love to connect with people to know their perspective, how they are dealing with their lives, how they are doing the responsibilities, and how their perspective and mindset change within the timeline. So I'm majorly interacting with people to know them better. So I'm majorly connecting with different department, different team, how they are working, and how I can help them in their particularly career development, and as well as how they can align with the company or a company goal. So majorly my role is connecting with people as well. So, and I would love to continue my career in HR operations and HR overall work, in which I can develop people and I can help them into their lives as well. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful, Kajal. It's lovely to have you here, and it'll be definitely fun to actually listen to your experiences. So now I would like to invite Arpit. So Arpit, I can feel that positive energy in your profile picture itself. You are high on energy, and I just want to like translate that energy to this particular whole audience. So
Thank you.
over to you.
Thank you, Kunal, for this. Good morning, everybody. My name is Arpit Rahmatkar. I born and brought up in Nagpur only, a small town, but I have the experience into good companies like Infosys, Tech Mahindra, Nico Group of Companies, uh, Lupin Limited, and now I'm working with Zim Laboratories Limited. in overall of my experience, I majorly have experience into talent acquisition and HRBP role. I also have handled operation, L&D, all this part, but I have a good experience into talent acquisition and uh, HRBP role. And if we talk about industry wise, I have worked in IT for very few years. I mean, just 2 years. And for engineering, I worked for 4.5 years. And in pharmaceutical manufacturing industry, I'm working from around 11 years. So thank you for inviting me for this talk show. I'm sure that it will surely help me to gain more professional knowledge from my co-speakers.
So now I would like to invite the youngest member of this whole group of the four speakers. So Isha, over to you. As I can see, you're also an engineer turned HR. So just like to know something more about you.
Sure, sure. First of all, a very beautiful morning to everyone there. And thank you for Kunal for having me. Glad I'm the youngest one. But yeah, uh, like Rishab and you mentioned, I have done my BTech in computer science and then turned into this HR proficiency. And I do belong to Bihar. My born and brought up is from there itself. And for the career is here in Delhi NCR. So right now I am based out in Delhi NCR and working with iFood. So this is basically a digital marketing setup, technology-based digital marketing setup. And here I am spreadheading with the recruitment, engaging people, and ensuring the retention of the team members, which we are having. And if you talk about my passion, I have been always been in a setup where I can get a chance of inculcating and encouraging the system. And I've always loved working with the startup culture. So yeah, since the beginning of my career, I'm with this startup setups only, and I enjoy human resource things. So yeah, that's where I am coming from, and would like to thank We360.ai for organizing this setup and catering all the like-minded people at the same roof. So thank you. Let's look forward to the further conversation.
Thanks, Isha. So we at V360, we just want to ensure that the productivity tribe and the productivity community gets bigger and bigger, and we all benefit from each other's experiences and the network effects. So welcome, and yes, as you said, you have been into startup mode, so you know how to keep hustling and always be in a hustle mode. So
True.
welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We all are hustlers here. Yeah. So fine. So it's a great start with some great speakers and amazing energy flowing into the show. So now I'll not take much of the time on the mic, and I'll just let the speakers to speak and share their specific insights. So I have some specific questions now, as I've already promised you, that we have received from our listeners. We have very carefully tried to like bifurcate those questions to specific people out here based on their experiences and their specific industries. So I will keep shuffling between the speakers so that no one has to wait for a very long time and no one has to actually keep speaking continuously. So I'll start with you, Arpit, as the first thing, since you have actually worked across multiple sizes of industries and multiple industries as well. So could you share some insights into the decision making process that happens when we are actually selecting an HR tech solutions? And which are those factors which play a very crucial role in the choices by the teams or by the respective leadership and the company?
Yeah, thank you, Kunal, for throwing me this question. As I worked into diverse companies, so in my all the companies we have taken the IT solutions for HR. So basically, if I talk about engineering firm, that time I think we had shifted to SAP. So it was very difficult for people to get it into that. Before that, people were managing everything with the Excel. So basically, more over time was going on to convincing people that we need to go for a system. Initially, there were no system, and there were just we are just managing the Excel scale, MS Office, and all this. So that was a big challenge that time. If we talk about Lupin that time, like yes, the SAP was already there, and we shifted to success factor. So it was again a big change, of course, change, but people were really have accepted the technology, and so accepting success factor was not so difficult for the people. So, but the challenges were there initially because we all were having uh, working standard set by SAP, or probably we all were having the habit to work with that. So changing was again the issue. And now in my current organization, we also have one software, but we are moving to a KKHR, this the software that we have taken up for recruitment. Of course, this time I am having a lot of fun because I have already gone through two change management. So this is convincing people is not that difficult because though I'm working into a pharmaceutical industry, these people are not IT graduates or maybe taking IT easily. It's not like that. They are, but they are tech savvy. I mean, everyone is having phone. Everyone is handling laptop and mobile, everything. So what happens? They are having the habit of using this. So convincing them is not my a big issue. Now the issue is what? So basically, do we really require the upgraded version or not? Second, whatever application I'm having previously, so is it able to integrate with that or not? So integration is a big important thing because we have almost our company is 25-year-old company. So we have 25-year data saved in that system. So integration is required. Yeah, it will be very difficult if I put data one on one into that system. That will create a lot of issue. So we the integration we have seen it first, like whether it is possible or not. Then again, we have kept in mind user friendliness. Like, of course, it should be like a social app, like how we are using LinkedIn, Instagram. So people are, everyone is now, this version is also having a mobile application where people can able to do recruit interviews and give feedback through that. Then, of course, a major problem what we face as in the industry, like pharma industry, is having a very crucial data. So data security and compliance management is more important. We are more governed industry. We a lot of US FDA, Merck, WHO, such kind of audits are happening here regularly. So our data should be very much secured. It should be very compliant. So we look for that also. uh, we have done vendor assessment before we do. Like here, it's really required before adopting any software or any tech solution. So vendor assessment is required. What is most suitable as per your industry that you should take it. We have seen majorly into our software where we can able to customize as per our requirement. uh, Now customization, why it is required? Because uh, flexibility of that system should be as per our company requirement. This is what happened, like we are a mid cap company, so moreover we deal with the MDs, we deal with the CEO, CFO of the company, and everyone is having their own pattern of handling the MIS, handling the data. So somewhere my data should come accordingly what these people are required. If why I'm hiring the system to make it easy or feasible, right? So if I'm getting a data and that data is not coming as per the fashion what I required, so what is the use of that system? So we kept it very much. We have taken the system where the flexibility and the customization or tailor-made can able to happen in that. Uh, Very much important again is report generation. How uh, a report I can able to generate, whether all type of things are available, all type of data is captured by the system or not, and that data is coming in a proper format. What exactly I'm expecting, because all the decision will be depend on that. All my hiring, all my recruitment, entire thing will be dependent on that. So my data should come on a proper fashion so that I can able to present to a management. This is thing. Anything more are you expecting, people? Thank you.
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, but so that's a very detailed answer, of course. You covered all the most important points, of course, the right data, the right user expectations, and the right adoptions by the right users is definitely most important. And then you spoke a very, very important point which is a part of the next question also, is like, are we able to integrate it properly and as per the expectation of the existing systems and processes? So
Yes, of course.
yeah, yeah, but so thanks, really thanks for that. So
Thank you, Kunal.
continuing with the same point. So Rishabh, I have this question for you because the kind of diversified profile you have, you come from the engineering background and then you got into the HRs. Of course, you have all of those understanding in terms of the tech implementations as well in terms of the process, structures, people. So this particular question comes to you is like, what, like, if you can share some experiences or some instances where actually you were integrating your new HR tech solutions and how you were able to integrate that with your existing systems and processes, and what were the key considerations that you or your team or your organizations had while doing that specific process?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for the question. See, I am fortunate to have the opportunity, to have had the opportunity of integrating multiple systems, right, in different roles. But one important aspect, I believe, the most important aspect, I believe, out of all these experiences is you need to assess what is the requirement, right? Or what kind of an integration do you want from the HRMS system? Is your organization capable to handle such a system? For example, uh, a particular small setup of an organization, they went for an SAP systems. It is like you are taming a white elephant wherein you just need a cow, right? I am fond of animals actually, so I in life I give a lot of examples related to animals, right? So white elephant is something which may seem very fascinating, right? You may feel pride, you may have the pride of saying I have a white elephant at home or I have tamed it, right? But you may not require it. You may not have the even potential to run it for a long term. You may not have that capability to drive it, right? So assessing that need is extremely critical for any organization before they go into any kind of HRMS system, right? It is like driving a Maruti 800 or an Alto or a Mercedes Benz or a Rolls Royce, right? You may have the money or whatever, right, to buy a larger car, but you may not have that requirement. So you need to assess it. That is the first important thing, because most of the time why HRMS fails is people do not assess the right requirement. Then they need to ensure that is there a compatibility of that particular software with the existing system or the setup. That becomes the second most important factor, right? If the systems, for example, you are running an SAP and you do not, and most of the times organizations do not go for success factor because of the cost implications, right? So they go for a different HRMS software. A lot of times compatibility becomes a challenge, right? Because of various reasons. One most important thing is software is not capable, or even if the software is capable, the compatibility charges or the alignment charges are so high that the organization then thinks, Ki, what have I done? I should not have gone for it, right? Many a times. Third most important point is proper planning of data migration, right? I have seen challenges being faced by organizations, or in fact, I have myself faced, wherein we did not plan the migration properly. Right? There was one software running, there were challenges. We went for a different software, but the time period required for that alignment or the transition was not sufficient. So the mainly who suffers, it is the HR ultimately who suffers, because the employees who are suffering, they get back to the HR, right? And many a times HR also do not have a solution because it is like a catch 22 situation. So people should be very careful while they decide of transitioning. At least 3 months is probably, I think, is extremely critical for a transition period when you are moving in from one particular software to a different software. Those 3 months are critical because there are employees who requires to fill in their reimbursements, attendance, or anything, leave. So it requires time. People, then you need to train your employees really well, and it takes a lot of time. If your employee strength is huge, it will take a larger amount of time. For example, in my current setup there are 13,000 employees, right? If you do not plan it properly, it will become an extreme challenge in that kind of a setup. If you have a 400, 500 employees, training your people becomes easy. But when the setup is huge and you have multiple skill set of people, right? So you may not know what kind of implications it will do on a particular system. For example, at a factory setup, right? There are blue collar people also who may require that kind of a software training. They may not be able to grasp it at one go compared to the people at the corporate office or the head office. So knowing your people and training them becomes very critical. Fifth point is ensuring data security. Very, very important. You need to have a proper backup systems. For example, while transitioning from one particular HRMS system to a different other system, you need to have all your backup data, because many a times there is a high probability that have already switched from one software to the other, but the data migration has not happened and you have not kept data backup. Then it becomes a challenge, because since there are a lot of compliances required, you never know when that particular data or that information will be required in future. You are not sure. Any employees, for example, goes into the court against the organization or the system, right? Anything can happen. So, in that case, how do you justify your action or whatever you have done, or by proving the data? For there may I have seen instances wherein the employee has left the organization long back, but still there is a particular court case which is going, and court has asked for information related to that a particular employment of that period. So, if you do not keep data record, you will face a lot of challenge. So always remember, HR is the custodian of compliances, HR related compliances, people related compliances. So you have to be absolutely sure of maintaining all that information and data. And then you have to monitor and continuously evaluate that how is your system performing, how are people performing, are the people enjoying the particular software or not in dealing with it. That kind of a continuous feedback system is extremely critical. So there can be multiple instances, Kunal, or examples that can be shared. But very, very important is you need to know your organizational capability and whether your organization is ready for a software migration or a HRMS system migration. That is very important. You may not need SAP, you may not need a very high software, right? Your organization, if has the potential of a very small software, go with it. It should not be that question of pride that we want to use this kind of a software. It's not relevant. It is just like that white elephant which is not required.
That's so perfectly put up, Rishab. I'm like I takes care of including or having the same decision at marketing tech stack decision making as well. And you very rightly said that you generally don't need white elephants. And generally, people get influenced that okay, fine, this software is so amazing, it is having a hype, let's go for this. But then your organization or your team might not be ready for that, or you don't even need that. So that's very very rightly put up. And then there are a lot of integrations that goes in the backend. So this again includes the point that Arpit also mentioned in terms of are we also choosing the right vendor, so that are we able to do that migration, because we might or might not have the capability of doing that migration or like get moving that specific data as per the integrations of the systems that required. So
True. True.
yeah, that's very very
And
rightly put up.
one also very important aspect I would like to share on this part is salespeople are extremely smart, right? Don't get carried away by their selling skills, right? They may be able to sell to a great extent and you may feel fascinated to buy a particular software. But then the backend team, many a times we have faced challenges that the backend team are not equally capable as the sales team, right? Then it becomes a disaster.
Exactly, exactly.
So evaluate properly.
Yeah, that's why due diligence of the vendor is also very importantly needed. So
True.
that's a great point put up, Rishabh. So continuing this particular streak, so Kajal, I would come to you now. So now, since we have actually spoken about so many important points, which are the
Yes.
points that you should keep in mind and all of the things. But then let's say, for example, you might have already implemented a lot of HR tech solutions. What were
Yeah.
the real time primary challenges that your company faced when you actually initially implemented an HR tech solution, and especially when considering the size of your business?
Okay, so first, I think I've agreed with Mr. Rishab. They've said that first we need to understand our company's requirement. So first we need to check about the what we required actually. What are the priorities we required in terms of the technology, in terms of the software. After that, we also have to select a software which is a people convenient, because ultimately people will follow the technology. So whatever technology we will implement, we have to give a training to employees that how to utilize that, how to use that. So first I prefer that in a company as well, we prefer to give a training to people about the software. Like if we are going to purchase any software, then we would like to take first we will take the software for some time to give a training to our employees if they are fit in that particularly software, to understand the software, and if we are getting the particular result what we are looking for, then and then we will go for the purchase or for a finalizing any technology. Because if we go for a highest technology or any higher software, but if people will not understand the technology, then it won't be usable for the company. So I think our organization goal and the people orientation is also required to select any technology. So whenever we select any technology first in the company, so first we review that with all the managers and ask them about the requirements, like what they are looking for in terms of the result. Like they wanted to know about the employees performance, employees attendance, employees leave management. So we make a particularly a notebook for that, and we look forward to search a particularly software for that. And just in the last quarter we have finalized one software. It's a team logger. So first we finalized and we checked it very well, and for a 1 month we take a trial period as well. And after that everything in will be streamlined. Then and then we finalize the software, and now we are using this software to manage the attendance as well, to manage the result, to manage their work performance, to leave management and everything. So it is so convenient software for all the managers and for the company from the HR's perspective as well.
Yep. Yeah. So, yes, so having the team buy-in is, of course, one of the greatest
Yes.
challenges pre and post implementation of any kind of HR tech
Yes.
solution. So that's, yes, definitely very, very important and a very valid point and a pain point that everyone can relate to, definitely.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kajal. So, so now, Isha, I will come to you. And so this point has been specifically mentioned by Rishabh and Arpit also, that while we are actually looking out selecting an HR tech solution, data security and compliance happens to be a very, very important issue. So I would like to understand, like, of course, like as Arpit was mentioning, a pharma company where you are actually dealing with a very, very sensitive data of your target customers. Uh, Similarly, in your case, since you're being a marketing agency, so now you might be having very critical data in terms of the customer information, in terms of the financial information of the company. So you are actually having sensitive information of not just employees, but also across every kind of factor for the client companies of yours. So how do you address concerns related to data security and compliance, especially for enterprises dealing with such kinds of sensitive information?
Sure. So when it comes to keeping all the important, employee into safe, and it's real priority, right? We have already taken a bunch of step, and I believe we are on top of it. But yeah, as Rishab, Kajal, and Arpit mentioned, there are certain steps, there are certain challenges which we too have faced, right? But first thing first, we made sure our tech tools are like Fort Knox, like super secure. We got the latest encryption, firewall, and all the good stuff to keep any prying eyes out. Everyone knows the drill on how to handle the sensitive info, like from password to not clicking on the sketchy links. We have covered the basics, yeah. And whenever you say we are picking up new tools, and since we are into the we are a technology driven digital setup, so we are into technology as well, and we are into digital as well. So whenever we are picking any new tool, we are super careful there. Like, we check if they meet all the data protection and privacy rule. No shortcuts are here, because there where you can't have the shortcuts with the information of the employee, or you call the information of the clients. It's like doing a background check on our tech, yeah. Regular check-in with all our IT folks are a thing too. They are always on the lookout for any weird activity, or if there is any potential threat. It's like having the digital bodyguards, you say. Yeah. And compliances, it's not one time thing, surely. It's an ongoing deal. We stay updated with the law and regulations from the data security front, and if something changes, we tweak our game plan accordingly. And yeah, we are supposed to be aware of the vendors which we are having. The client servicing vendors are there. We're supposed to vet at all the grounds. And if someone got any question or concern, we are all here there. And we have like set up a channel of people also, so that they can voice their worries about data security. And if they are facing any concern, so it's all about the open communication. Like we have made that communication easier that way. So yeah, when you talk about the keeping employee data or the client's data or the vendor's data safe, it's big deal for us, and we are not playing around when it comes to the privacy and security. We have got our bases covered, and everyone know it's a team effort to keep things locked down. So yeah, it's a team effort. Like everyone on the toes for any kind of situation we will be facing or we are facing. So yeah.
Yep. So through proper practices and proper trainings, you're ensuring that it's not just the practices followed by the company, but the right habits are also developed by the team members as well.
That's the important thing, right?
Yep.
Because if say you are having the right kind of setup, you are having the right kind of guidelines, but the people are not following, so that's of no use. Yeah, so the training and the regular conduction of the thing plays a vital role, I think.
Definitely. That's a valid point. Yep. So, Arpit, I would like to throw a very interesting question to you now, since we have
Yes,
actually
please.
discussed the major in and outs of the HR tech adoption. So now, with all the experience and across multiple industries that you've worked upon, you might have already seen in and out multiple new technologies coming in and going out. So
Yes.
now, looking
Yes.
ahead, what do you see as the most influential trend in HR tech adoption? Irrespective of the small business or enterprises, and how are you as an individual and as a team or as a company are preparing for them?
So people are more giving significance, importance to the AI, artificial intelligence. So that is how we all are using it also. Maybe everyone is using now AI chat GPT, or maybe for Canva and for PPT presentations and all, AI dot PDF, all these we are using it. But how we can integrate this with the software, that will be, that is more important. So in current company also, where we have taken a new technology, where we also have seen how we have got the AI integrated reports as per that we have required it. Okay. Apart from that, I somewhere feel people are talking more about mental well-being, or maybe what we can say, uh, health. So for that also, company have started working upon. I would not say this is an engagement activity. This is somewhere companies are more concerned about the employees' health and mental well-being. So for that also, a lot of apps and things are there that they are integrating with the insurance company. They are integrating with the health app, where they are counting how their physical activities are getting monitored or not. Then so all these things are people are working and companies are working upon these. After corona, mental health is like the priority for most of the big companies. So if you talk about Birla, or even in Lupin, or in Hindalco and many big organizations, they have started a new cell called mental well-being, where they are assisting throughout to the people. Interestingly, I would like to say that they have started putting one KRA as KRAH, key result area for health, into everybody, all the employees' KRA. So this is how interestingly people have started. I think the new software, whatever we are engaging, somewhere we need to keep in mind that in coming future, most of the organization are going to go for gig economy. So like Zomato or like uh, what many companies are there. Those who are actually gone through a gig economy. So by keeping that in mind, I think somewhere we should take the software, we should take certain application, or we should have the scope of development in that way, so that we can able to integrate whenever we'll go for this. One more thing after corona is has happened, like work from home. So uh, if people are working remotely, so how our solution can able to help and give a proper justice to that person as well as to a company, so that we need to see it. So this is all from my side. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, sure, Arpit. So I'm like, while you were mentioning the points, I was able to relate to every point because we at V360.ai also like, I hope you're taking care of like integrating artificial intelligence in terms of the analytics of the workforce. And
Right.
then we have a dedicated feature where we talk about wellness. So I can definitely relate to
Mm,
what you're exactly saying, where like in terms of health, is your are your workforce overburdened or is something underburdened?
mm.
So like yes, that is a very important point. And yes, are you able to empower the company work culture in terms of transparency to both employees and employer to actually empower and enable the hybrid workforce?
Yes.
Because now there are teams, distributed teams. Some of them are working out of different locations, some of them are working either home or remote, some are working into office. So how you can bring everyone on a common channel in terms of the visibility and the analytics? So yes, that is going to be feature because like the things have changed very rapidly post COVID.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
yeah, yeah. Thanks, Arpit, for your very great insight. So Kajal, now just changing the pattern a little bit, Rishabh, I'll come to you after this. So Kajal,
Yes.
uh, so while you have actually implemented those HR tech implementations, and as you were telling that the team buy-in should be there, so
Yes.
while you did that, what impact this particular HR tech had on the overall experience in your organization, and how you were able to maintain a positive company culture through these changes?
Okay, so I think this is a great topic we can discuss, and I can share our experience here as well. So first, whenever we implement the any HR tech here, so first we check the conveniency of people in the same. So whenever we particularly give a training to them. So here first we take a meeting with the managers about this any HR tech software over there. After that, the HR and the team leader will give a training, and even I'm part of the training, and we are giving a clear understanding of HR tech to all the employees. After understanding, I've completed all the procedure from the data, including everything. Then I have to make sure that I've added proper data and verify all the details with them. Then I've personally connect with every employee to know their conveniency with that particular software, so that I can get a feedback, because feedback from employees is very important nowadays, to know about their conveniency, to know about their experience. So after connecting and after implementing any HR tech, I'm taking a feedback from the employee side, like how they are convenient with the new HR tech here. Even I would like to share my one of experience of the last quarter, in which I've created, prepared, and updated a employee HR handbook in my organization, in which I've mentioned each and every basic details about the company environment, about the company culture, about the company rules and regulations. So whenever people will come on board, so it will be easy for us, and it will be a transparent process to update them all the process. So they just have to read that employee HR handbook to understand the company environment, company technology, HR technology. Even that in HR handbook, I've mentioned some of the HR tech and how we are implementing, how the process is ongoing in that, so the people is able to read over them. We have sent the handbook on the mail, so they have that access, so they can read the employee HR handbook, and they know about the company environment, company procedure, how the rules and regulations we are following, what are the important aspect we have, and what is our company goal. So I think this is a easy way I can connect with people, and I even monthly I've connecting with everyone in terms of the meeting, like a 15 to 20 minute meeting I've conducting with every team, to know their perspective about the HR technology here, they are comfortable in or not. So I think people are the major aspect, and they are very important aspect in any for any organization. So I think no people understand their mindset, their convenience is very important. So currently I'm doing that, and I'm majorly connecting with people in terms of everything regarding the environment, regarding the company culture, HR tech as well. And if they had need any assistance anytime, I'm always available to them, so that it will be a transparency for HR from the company and to employees.
Perfect, perfect, Kajal. So, right trainings and education, and of course,
Yes.
transparency and visibility through open feedback and open
Yeah,
communication.
correct.
Perfect, perfect. That's wonderful. The way you're actually handling that.
Yes.
So now
Thank you.
coming to Rishabh. So Rishabh, as we say, once a soldier, always a soldier. We just adopted that at our college, and we used to say, once an engineer, always an engineer. So now, since you coming from engineering background to HR, so I am actually throwing this question, which is again related to the numbers, and you as an engineer can relate to that pretty well. So, what I would want to understand from you, since you have actually implemented so many solutions across different length and breadth of the companies, so how do you typically measure? And this is more from the HR perspective as well as from the leadership perspective, because as an HR, how will I go back to my leadership and convince on this that how do you measure the return on investment when it comes to HR tech adoption? And are there any specific metrics that prove most valuable for your organization?
Okay, wonderful. See, I will tell you one instance. There was a manual system at the dock, famous dock in Bombay, right? 60 years ago. And there were thousands of laborers who used to work. So when the lift, the first time the heavy lift system or crane system was being introduced, there was a massive strike, right? People thought their jobs will go. As usual in India and West Bengal, it was very common, right? But then people gradually realized that with that particular crane or the lift, right, business improved, business increased, right? And people improved their efficiency, people's salary increased, everything happened. So similar fear was always there that when AI comes, things will go. It is never the case, right? It is only to help the human beings to have increased their efficiency, right? Similarly, whenever any system is there, you are doing, suppose you are doing a manual logging of systems, right? A notepad or a diary wherein you monitor or you record all the transactions. So now then Excel, a simpler version of Excel came. You started incorporating all the data into that. So gradually now a different HRMS system wherein automatically or any technological system, SAP, be it Oracle, any system that has come, it has always improved the efficiency of the particular business and people, right? So do you think that there's a cost saving to it?
Yes, definitely.
So it's very simple to monitor it. There is, if people's efficiency improve, cost is saved because there is a saving of time. If suppose there is a system wherein or that there is an organization wherein there is no HRMS system, how will the managing director or suppose I as a CHRO have to give a report to my MD? It will take my people lots of hours or numerous hours to build a particular report. But if there is an HRMS system and data is entered correctly in that particular system on time, the report is just a click away and report can be multiple. I don't have to depend on any particular individual to generate the report. So of course there is a cost saving. Now, second very important point, employee engagement. With systems, employee engagement is very high, right? But of course, you need to have your people so educated and trained that they are well equipped to handle that particular software. And now, since, for example, I give you the first example, second example, wherein I have to give that report to the MD, right? If number of hours are invested, right, I save time. If I don't have to invest a large number of hours or a numerous hours, right? So on a click of a button, I get the report. So there's a time savings, and time, people call time is money. I call time is life, right? Because you don't have n number of hours in your life. You have to do so many things in a short period of time. So time saving. Then you have different recruitment matrices. I was hearing today morning, while I generally hear every day, it takes an hour for me to reach office, right, while driving. So I hear podcasts, right? So I was hearing Leena Nair, the ex-CHRO of Unilever, right? So they have lakhs of people as their employees. What they introduced as a system was a system wherein any candidate, because there are millions of people who are applying to get into Unilever, right? So how do you see that it is humanly not possible to interview all the candidates, right, physically or even virtually. So they had introduced a system wherein you can fill up data. They had built in psychometric systems wherein you can evaluate the person's psychology, and also a video interview, 30-minute questionnaire. They were there, a kind of an interaction virtual, so a video recorded system. So it is very easy for an AI to judge a person on that when the scale is so high. Now, does that mean AI will replace human beings? No, it will never happen. It has never happened practically. So any system come, it will, human beings will never be replaced. That is for sure. So nobody has to worry about it. But the only thing is, of course, it has to facilitate in a faster transaction, right? So there can be numerous things. You can have a better retention metrics. You can understand how people feel. You can make it so original that people tend to give their genuine feedback. The service becomes extremely easy. For example, I still know of some people in any organization, especially in an older organization. For example, if somebody has a PF issue or a payroll person, if you have to go to that particular person, it feels like the cat's tail is up. It is like that concept, right? They feel they are so powerful. And the person has come to seek help. Why do I need to go to somebody to ask a question? Why isn't your software or a system so efficient that people can know any information they want to know on a click? If you have any PF issue or any salary issue or anything, your system should be so smart. So compliances are extremely critical. So if you have a proper system wherein there is no manual intervention required, your compliances can be done easily, or at least you can monitor them. If not done through systems, it can tell you on time that your particular X compliance is due on X date. This amount has been is to be paid, or you have to meet this person. Everything, it becomes very easy, so that it will not be people dependent. Tomorrow I am there in the system or not, it should not matter. The process should be so important and seamless. I think this is what I believe, or I expect from a technological transformation in any organization.
Wonderful, wonderful, Rishabh. So you mentioned a very, very amazing point in the starting about like the time. Time is definitely money. So one of our co-founders at
Time is
V360,
life.
and yeah,
For me, time
definitely.
is life.
Yeah, so one of our co-founders, he's also a host here today. So he actually talks about a very good narrative, and we have actually like helping the companies with. So companies keep financial accounting, companies keep cost accounting, but then we are actually focusing on something which is called as time accounting. So you definitely spoke about a very, very important issue, and then we at V360 also gone one step ahead, wherein like we are actually making it even more easier for the teams that they don't have to even enter the data, and like 70% or 80% of data is already there automatically. So yes, that is something very, very important points that you have mentioned. And if you are actually able to save time, not just for the employees but across the company, and specifically for the leadership or for the department heads and managers, then definitely that's something that should be taken into account. So that's a very, very good insight given by you, Rishab, because this is one of
Thank
the
you.
most typical question, not just by the HRs but by the business owners and the leaders as well. That should I or should I not invest in HR tech, and will it actually help me in terms of saving any money? So that's a very, very insightful answer. So I have this last question of the show, and Isha, this is for you. So now, since we are actually talking about a lot of changes, a lot of compliances and everything, since you being from the youngest company here, and
Mm-hmm.
since you are a small team, so it is much easier for you to adapt to the changes. So how your organization culture adapted to the changes brought by your HR tech adoption,
Okay.
and particularly in terms of the employee roles and responsibilities. So how you are able to do that?
Okay. So, like handling payroll or keeping tabs on who's coming or going. Less time dealing with paperwork means our team can put more efforts into what really matters, right? Like whether it's a small team or a big team. But when you are able to put your efforts on something which is actually required, that matters. So people are doing more for themselves too. We have got these online tools, where employee can sort their own things like time off, update to their details. It's like pretty cool. They have got more control, and it's made everyone feel more responsible for their own work. Whether you talk about learning new things, this has also gotten way easier. We have got this system for online training. Folks are getting into it, and it's like everyone taking charge for their own learning, picking up new skill, and that help them in their job. And when you talk about like when you're talking about talking to each other, that has developed with the introduction of this HR tech thing. Yeah, we use tech for messages, keeping projects on track. Like it has brought all us together, and even if we are not in the same place, the team spirit is strong, right? uh, Again, making decision has changed too. We are into data to figure out stuff about our team. It's not just guessing anymore now. Decisions are based on what the numbers say. It's more straightforward way of doing the things. Yeah, and yes, with everything that's happened lately, working from home become normal. The tech we have got lets us do our job from wherever, whenever we are, and it has made us more flexible, and people are like having the choices of going ahead. And when you talk about the introduction of AI, so yeah, it's a mix too. We are using it to make our processes smarter. But yeah, it's big, but we are being careful here again. We want AI to be helpful sidekick, not a creepy overload on our head. Yeah. So our culture is evolving to embrace this tech while keeping an eye on the ethical side of the things as well. And in a nutshell, the HR tech wave here has made us more efficient, more connected, and more aware of our own growth and well-being. It's not just about the tools; it's about shaping the culture, that's agile, smart, and human, like all things at the same time with the use of this HR tech. So, like, I always believe in this, human with human thing, right? So when you are adapting to it, the tech is surely there, but that humanity, that human thing again is important. So yeah, this from my end.
Thanks, Isha, for a wonderful answer. And yes, it's great that it is actually making the teams more productive
Yeah.
and more collaborative. So that's what the idea is, to get more productive each given day. So wonderful. So let's get tech going to keep making all of us more productive every single day. And I honestly want this event to expand to more questions, because this has turned into a very, very lovely conversation from all of you. But since we are also bound by time, so unfortunately we have to wind up now. And really, thanks a lot for addressing the questions from all our listeners. And I'm pretty sure that everyone who was a part of this conversation was able to get some really useful insights. And I myself was very fortunate to grab some amazing knowledge from all of you. All the best with the great work that you all are doing to empower your teams and organizations. It was really lovely speaking to all of you. Goodbye, everyone.
Same here,
Goodbye, Rishabh.
Kunal. Thank you
Thank you.
so
Thank you,
much.
Kunal.
Thank
Thank
you.
you to
Thank
the
you,
audience.
Kunal, for all the
Thanks.
opportunity.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
Isha, Kajal, and Isha. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Yeah.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Bye. Have a nice day.
Bye. So here is the final goodbye for today. Amazing speakers and all the listeners. See you all in our next episode of Productivity League. Signing off for now. Goodbye.